Hello, this is History Shorts with the Artifactual Scholar. Today, I'll be talking about Francis Perkins and the New Deal. The New Deal is the name given to President Franklin Roosevelt's plan to pull the country out of the Great Depression. Though credit is rightly given to the president, the inspiration for the program came largely from his Secretary of Labor, Francis Perkins. Perkins, a Massachusetts native, was an extraordinary individual. Educated at Mount Holyoke College and Columbia University, she was an active supporter and participant in the progressive social reform movements of the early 20th century. In 1911, she witnessed the infamous Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire that killed 146 garment workers in New York City. That event galvanized her resolve to push for labor reform and safety regulations. Her advocacy and lobbying soon led to the passage of workplace safety laws in New York State, and she was widely regarded as a leading expert in that field. By the end of the decade, New York State Governor Al Smith had appointed Perkins to an administrative advisory position, and in 1929, Smith's successor, Franklin Roosevelt, appointed her to be the state's industrial commissioner. During the early years of the Great Depression, Perkins openly challenged President Herbert Hoover's prediction that the economy was turning a corner and would soon recover. In 1932, as the Great Depression deepened in the U.S. and around the world, Franklin Roosevelt was elected president. He had campaigned with a spirit of hopeful optimism and a promise of government action to turn the economic tide. When Roosevelt took office in 1933, he asked Francis Perkins to head the Labor Department. Perkins accepted the appointment on the condition that Roosevelt supported her policy ideas, which included items like a 40-hour workweek, a federal minimum wage, the abolition of child labor, and other progressive plans. He agreed, and Perkins became the Secretary of Labor, the first woman to ever hold a cabinet position. Once in office, she began to push for the implementation of massive public works programs, a move that led to the creation of the Civilian Conservation Corps. In 1934, Perkins drafted a plan for a system of comprehensive old age pensions, disability assistance, and unemployment and workers' compensation. That plan was the basis for the Social Security Act, signed into law in 1935. 3 years later, another Perkins policy, the Fair Labor Standards Act, that set a minimum wage and maximum work hours, became law. With the backing of the president and the support of First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, Perkins was one of the most influential figures in government and one of the guiding forces behind the New Deal. Despite her position, or perhaps because of it, she faced sexism and strong opposition from Republicans, the press, and even the labor movement. Yet Perkins persisted. She remained as labor secretary until Roosevelt's death in 1945, making her one of the longest-serving cabinet members. After leaving her cabinet post, Perkins continued in the civil service until 1952, and then taught at Cornell University and other colleges until her death in 1965. Throughout her career, Francis Perkins broke new ground in her unending fight to make society better. As Secretary of Labor, she influenced the creation and implementation of some of this country's most important social safety nets. And as a testament to her work, the current headquarters of the Labor Department is named in her honor. But perhaps her legacy can best be summed up in her own words. I came to Washington to work for God, FDR, and the millions of forgotten, plain, common working men. This has been History Shorts. Thanks for watching.